Welcome back, developers. In this tutorial we're going to add checkpoints and a respawn system to our platformer. Right now, when the player dies, the entire level restarts, but today we'll fix that by letting the player respawn at the last activated checkpoint instead of starting over. Here's what we're going to cover today. We're going to create a checkpoint system. We're going to activate and deactivate the checkpoint. I have a sprite in mind for this. It's a little lever that we'll use. We're going to store the player's respawn position and then modify our death system to respawn at the checkpoint instead of restarting the level. By the end of this tutorial, your player will remember the player's progress, making death less frustrating and improving the gameplay flow. Alright, let's start out by setting up the checkpoint object. Alright, let's go ahead and look in our project folder, and I believe it's in here. Yeah, there it is. So in this Sunnyland environment folder, right, there's a props folder, and inside this props folder are these two cranks, crank down and crank up. We're gonna go ahead and drag this into our scene, like so. But if we look, it's still really small, so we got to adjust that, right? So let's go ahead and click on crank up and change that to 16. And we're going to make sure our point mode is set to point no filter and press apply. There we go. That's better. Alright, now let's go ahead and do the same thing with crank down, because we'll need that too. Drag that in. Alright, now for both of these, I'm just gonna set them up in a prefab. So create, right click, create empty parent, and name this checkpoints. And then I'm gonna bring this guy down. Let's see what we got. We're just gonna go right here. Alright, let's go ahead and create a script. And name it checkpoints. There we go. Alright, so inside here we're going to start creating some variables, right? So we need private bool is activated, and we're going to start that off with equal to false. We're also going to add a header, checkpoints. And we'll say check on public game object check off. There we go. And then in this case, we're gonna say off dot set active is equal to true. Oh. And then check on dot set active is equal to false. These will set the visibility of the game object, or the activeness of the game object. It'll either turn on or off, so that it can be affected or it cannot be affected by things. And then we don't really need the update, so we can get rid of that. But what we do need is private void on trigger enter 2D, and then turn that to other and come back down here if other dot compare tag is the player and is activated. Then we're gonna do a thing, and that thing is we're gonna activate. Oh yeah, we don't have that function. Yeah, activate the checkpoint. It'll be a function that we're gonna create. What's going on here? This is why. Let's mess it up. Alright. There we go. Alright, next thing is to create our activate checkpoint script. So private void activate checkpoint, and is activated is going to be equal to true, and then let's see, check off dot set active will be equal to false, check on dot set active will be equal to true. Why? Oh, because I put dot and it should not be dot. No, it should be. Why? Oh, because I put equals instead of. My bad, yo. My bad. We needed parentheses, not equal signs. I don't know why I put equal signs. Alright, there we go. Now let's see. What do we got? And only need one of those. Alright, all of that was working just fine. So let's go ahead and test it out. We should be able to get away with just putting a box collider 2D on this object right here. Let's go ahead and offset the X to the right some. Make sure it's set to trigger. And then drop this guy on there. And then checkpoint crank up will be checkpoint on. Check off will be checkpoint crank down. There we go. That's what I'm trying to say. Alright, let's go into our game. Let's see what we got. Alright, so you can see that it's off right here, and when we touch it, and now it's on. So that part's working, so that's good. Alright, let's go ahead and press Control S to save our project. Now the next part that we're going to be working on, and that is going to be we need to store the checkpoint in a game manager, which we do not have. So we have our object, but we don't have like a game manager script, so that's what we need to do. So in our scripts, right click, create model behavior, name this game manager. We're going to go ahead and just drag this onto it and then open it up. Alright, let's see. I might need these later on, so I'm going to take these, copy them and paste them over here, just so that I have them. I don't think we won't need them for right now for this one, but just for later use in case. We're going to make this a static instance. So GameManager instance. Private. We want the vector 3, and that's going to be our spawn point. And then let's see, in our awake function, we're going to need an awake function. So, and in there it's going to be if the instance is equal to null, and instance is going to equal this, and we're going to give this a don't destroy on load game object, which is going to reference itself. And if it finds another one, we're going to tell it to destroy one of those instances. Alright. What else? We need to tell it where this. Alright, so spawn point be equal to game object dot find game object with tag. Tag's gonna be the player, and then we're gonna look for its transform dot position. We won't. I'm not gonna delete those because we might need them later on, but right now I don't need them. But underneath I am gonna put a public void set and create a function called set spawn point, and it's going to require a vector 3. It's going to be called new spawn point. Dot spawn point is equal to new spawn point. Right, easy enough, right? And then we're going to create a public vector 3 called get spawn point, and this is what it's going to reference when we go to do the respawning. When we do the respawning, not returning, right? So we created a singleton here by having our game manager as a static instance. We're telling it not to destroy the game manager if it's alive unless there's an extra one. This prevents there from being two game managers in the scenes, especially after the reloading, because it might try to reload the game manager or the original game manager. And then we're telling it to store the last activated checkpoint position here, right? Set spawn point updates the spawn position when the checkpoint's activated, or at least it will, right? And then get spawn point provides the stored position when respawning. So what we need to do now is in our checkpoint, right? Let's see, under activate checkpoint. So what we need to do is GameManager dot instance dot set spawn point. I apparently spelled it wrong. Well, not wrong, but have a random capital O in there, so I'll fix that in a minute. And we're gonna set the transform dot position in there, and I'm gonna go Control S to save that, and then fix that right there. All right. Let's see here. What's the next thing we need to do? The next thing should be to just modify the death script. And well, not script. It's not a script, but the function, right? So let's go to player controller, player control, because apparently I spelled that wrong too earlier. And let's look for our death function. And what we're gonna do is create a coroutine to handle this. So private IE numerator, and we'll call this respawn. And then we're gonna wait for a few seconds. Alright, sorry I had to pause there. I felt the sneeze coming along. Alright, what we need to do next is, oh, you know what? I forgot to put new right here. There we go. And then get component collider 2D. What else? We need to, whoops, dot enabled is equal to true. This dot enabled is equal to true. Or anim dot set bool. We're gonna reset the death boolean here. Is dead is now gonna be false. I do have one random error that I'm not sure where it's at. It says it's on checkpoint, so let's see what's going on. Oh, right there. There we go. Save that. Save that. And then here we're just gonna change this to be respawn instead of restart. Alright, so let's see. Let's go ahead and minimize this and test it out. And so we'll die first and see if it, okay, let's try this again. Alright, that's 1, 2, 3. Alright, so if we don't hit the checkpoint, we restart the level. When we hit the checkpoint, it's on. That's 1. Alright, we restarted. Now, we haven't reset the lives yet, so we got to do that. But we die, and it does do that. Alright, so next thing is going to be to restore those lives. Alright, so what we're going to do is open up our health manager, or not health manager, whoops, go back to our player control, and in our respawn function, all we should really have to do, I have all this code and I have not put any comments. This, that way everybody knows what's going on. This resets the player position to last checkpoint. All this is going to have to do with re-enabling movement. And then what we're going to do next is reset the health. So, and this should be as simple as health manager dot health is equal to 3, and then health manager dot update. No, what is it? how did I handle the update the UI in there? Yeah, update health UI. Is it because it might be because it's not public, so let me make this public real quick. Now let's go back, and then health manager dot update health UI. There we go. All right. The spaces in between aren't required, but it cleans up the code, makes it look a little nicer. So let's try this again. Boom. 1, 2, 3. And there we go. Back to having all 3. 1, 2, 3. Alright, so we're good. That's it for this video. In the next video, I'm not entirely sure what I got planned, but we'll figure it out and we'll go from there. Until then, make more games.